Three, two, one.
Welcome back to the Wow Within. I am Jen Potter, your host, and I am joined by Dara Forleo. She is the owner of the Whole Pet Grooming Academy, and we have had an amazing conversation these last few segments. We have been talking about all things grooming and why it's so important, and I can't wait to get my dog to the groomer. And the last thing that we really want to touch base on today is making the safest, smartest choices because it's not always the first thing we think about, right? We talked about this plenty of times before. And so thank you so much for being back on and really just bringing this compassion and empathy to the show. And I said it during the break, your fire that you have brought is what truly lights me up. And I love talking to people that have that fire and have that passion. But it's because you have that passion, you've created such an amazing program for groomers. And I'm witnessing it, right? Like everybody's on the show. And I said, in a year, we're going to have you on again. But in the next few years, this is going to change the world. It's going to literally change the way that we look at it.
Yep. And before we go, I'm going to hook you up with your doodle groomer.
I'm very, very excited. And, we don't always make the safest, smartest choices. And your goal is to create that safe space for our animals. And I think that that's so important. And, when I asked you, I said, what's the most important thing to you during break? You said compassion. You are creating compassionate groomers, people who are taking care of our animals. And that to me, like as a pet owner and as a mom, I'm like, okay, this is why you have to choose the right person. You're not going to walk into the big box store unless your program hits the big box store, because it's going to someday. And to be able to make these big changes that really need to be made to protect our animals. And so when we're creating this safe space, and when our alumni are graduating and they're going out there into the world, you're giving something to pet owners all over the country, something that they didn't have access to. So thank you for what you've created, and thank you for your passion. And during the break, we talked about some questions that we can talk about when we're looking for, is this the right groomer? Right. And so even if I don't have a husky, and if I was just to blindly call somebody, if I was to say, hey, do you groom double-coated
breeds?
Double-coated breeds. All right. I'm making sure I'm saying it right. How should they answer that?
How should they answer that? They're answering, yes, of course I do double-coated breeds. What's your breed? You're going to tell me what your breed is. Is it golden retriever, husky, German shepherd, a Pomeranian, any double-coated breeds? They've got guard coat. They've got a different type of coat. And if you're looking to have that animal, that pet shaved, no, that's not good. You do not ever want to shave your double-coated breed. There is a reason that coat is there, and it needs maintenance just like other breeds that have hair, but those coats should never be shaved. And that's, if you're doing it, please stop. Talk to your groomer about why that's bad, or connect with us and we'll tell you why it's bad, because it does not allow that animal to regulate his temperature, and it is severely doing damage to their skin and their hair follicles. So it's not a natural process, and you do not want a groomer who is going to continue to shave double-coated breeds, because it is not healthy.
And when you said that to me before, I was like, wow, that's a really great indication of, are they being educated on all different breeds of dogs, right? Because first and foremost, that wouldn't even be a thought that would cross my mind. And I've had double-coated breeds. Like I've had a Pomeranian, and we never fully got her. Like it was very light, because she was very bougie. So she was a very bougie dog.
Guard comb. You can guard comb off some of the wispies and neaten it up. But when I say shave, I mean taking it down short to the skin.
Right.
Not a guard comb. There are a number of different options, and that does not stop the shedding. People think that stops the shedding and that their dogs are going to be cooler doing that, and it's not the case. It's the exact opposite. The shedding is still going to be there, only you're going to have splinters instead of longer coat that you can vacuum up, and those splinters are going to get everywhere. And if you have infants and toddlers crawling around on the floor, now they're getting all those little hair splinters into their little bodies.
I just learned something new. And of course, like, you know, when you're talking about shaving, like I instantly thought about shaving a Pomeranian, and I was like, I thought of your Chihuahuas. So a Pomeranian should not look like a Chihuahua, a short-haired Chihuahua.
Right. Yeah.
So that's really important. And then because you don't even think about the next step. You said toddler, right? I have children. And so, you know, if that happens, that could also cause problems to my children. And so it's a trickle effect. And so it's such a basic question that I would have never thought about asking, but I think that that's a great question for all of our listeners and watchers to be able to say, you know what, if I just ask that one basic question, I'll know if they're educated. And there's other things that pop up as red flags. So if I go to the vet and they say, hey, your dog has an ear infection, how should I respond to, hey, your dog has an ear infection?
Oh, you mean if you go into the groomer picking them up?
Sorry, that's what I meant. I got excited.
So no, we should not be. We are not medically trained to diagnose. That is diagnosing. We can see that there is a problem there, but if so, we should not be cleaning those ears. We should not be touching those ears. And you know, one of the things I've always said and taught in my classes is, if I have a dog that has some type hair and that ear hair coming out, not to pluck it, but to look at the owner when they come and pick up and say, I could not do anything, they need to go to the vet. If your groomer tells you you need to go to the vet, take your dog to the vet. Just do it. Don't ask questions. What's going on? And get your dog to the vet, because there is a reason why we see them every 6 to 8 weeks. We should be seeing them every 6 to 8 weeks, depending on what kind of coat type. And we see them more than your vet is going to. And we are training eyes to look for abnormal spots or abnormalities that are showing up, because we're seeing that skin all the time. We should be taking notes and monitoring. Does that lump look like it's gotten a little bigger? Is this wart growing? What's going on with this stuff? Take your dogs to the vet. And if your groomer recommends that, please do it. Because if you don't, and that gets worse, then we're the ones who get in trouble.
Right.
So, and that causes friction between us and the vets. And so what I've always trained my students to do is, actually, while you're there standing in front of me, is pick up the phone, call your vet now, make that appointment. Call your vet now. Please make that appointment, because I found this and I need you to take your dog to the vet.
And because that's also showing how much you care. You're saying, listen, I noticed that something may be a problem. I can't diagnose it, but I know that something's not right. And we had a similar situation happen with us, with our dog. And she went to go get groomed, and the groomer actually noticed that she was scratching her ears, and she had scratching her nails, and under her fingernails, she actually had some bacteria that when they were cutting, they noticed that something didn't seem right. And so she actually stopped working on the ears and told us, like, hey, just let you know, like, you need to get this checked. And it has been an ongoing process for the last several months, because our dog has a unknown bacteria that we have been trying. So we've been trying to treat this. It's been several months now, but it was pointed out by the groomer. So we haven't been able to bring her to the groomer for a few months. So the poor pup needs to go to the groomer. But we can't bring her because she has some type of bacterial infection. But I guess it's common with doodles that they have, you know, they pick up these weird things, and my dog literally
You're a weird dog.
gets into everything. So I have a Bernedoodle, and I know we talked about this before, but she literally eats everything. She is that dog that you put something down and it just disappears. She loves paper. She loves wood. Like, You know when they say, like, my dog ate the homework? I swear on the universe, this dog eats paper.
She's
You
gonna,
can't leave paper, paper towels, anything paper-like. She will eat paper
well, at least
everything.
that's a little bit better digestible than a sock.
True. She won't eat socks, I mean, anymore. But, like,
Or
she loves eating paper and Play-Doh. She loves Play-Doh. So there's that too.
Mm.
So it's
Mhm.
fun, but it's not because she eats so many things that they think that that's what's caused this bacteria. So we've had to change her food, and she takes all this medication, but it was pointed out to us by a groomer. And so we were able to get that right out the gate. And
Yeah.
I think it's really important that they didn't say, hey, your dog has an ear infection. No, it's, hey, we noticed something might be wrong.
We noticed
Let's make a
something.
phone call.
Yeah.
And we did, and we got it taken care of. So
Good.
I respect that groomer
That's a
so
good
much.
groomer.
Yes, because I'm like, I
That's a good
can't wait
groomer.
to bring her
Not
back. And she
diagnosing.
loves going there.
Something's
Yes. And
wrong. Take your
yes.
dog. You make sure. Yeah.
And so it's a safe space for us. So
Yeah.
I greatly appreciate those recommendations because they definitely mean a lot. And
Yeah.
so is there anything else that you want to add before you tell everybody how to get a hold of you and all the things?
So, I'd really say just when you're going, pick up my pet owner's guide. It is on our website. It's got a lot of information in there, questions to ask, what to look for, and again, not all groomers are created equally, just like everybody. And, do your due diligence. Really do your due diligence. Number of years does not mean experience. And you want to make sure you're asking the right questions, looking at the right things, and do your research. Really do your research. Look for our groomers. If they've graduated from the whole pet, they're good.
That's
And
amazing.
we've well vetted them.
And what's the website?
We are wholepetnh.com because we are located, our online global campus, we're in New Hampshire. We're licensed in New Hampshire, and it's wholepetnh.com.
That's amazing. And thank you for bringing your passion and your
thank
fire and your expertise, because I learned a lot, and it really ignited something in me today. And so it was a pleasure. And I can't wait to get with you to have coffee, and it's going to be great.
Yes.
So thank you so much for being here today. Thank you to
Thank
everybody
you.
listening. Absolutely. And join us next time for the Wow Within. Have a great day.
Meeting you.
This has been a Now Media Networks feature presentation. All rights reserved.